Do you understand the question? You're a pastor. Where's your uniform? Where's your pastoral collar? Oh, he was shocked, right? Why did I put accountancy and audit first? It is accountability. Well, you say, well, I work for God. I'm not accountable to anybody. Yeah, but it is true. There's something that we have to learn about the ministry. This accountancy is not for yourself. It's not for your own integrity. It's not for your own church integrity. When you wear the collars, you don't wear the collar to tell you yourself. I mean, when you have a name tag, right? Let's say make a name tag, a Gerard Xiao. If I wear a name tag, it's not for me. I know my name. It's for you. You don't know my name. You get what I'm saying? The accounts properly done and properly being audited. It's not for you. You know you're honest. But it's for other people to know you're honest. It's for the government or some brother or sister who says, hey, where's your AGM report? Where's your accountancy report? And then behind that, there's something more important than money. What money cannot buy? It's the constitution of your church. I really appeal to all of the private and independent ministers that are coming under our covering. You should show me your constitution, your church constitution. I should require it. Where does it say that you can collect money? Where does it say what you do with the money that you collect? What is the legal basis for your ministry before man and before God? This is not for us. I know I'm honest, but do the other people know I'm honest? Right? So this is part of the what we call cohort excellence. And I'm willing to underwrite this. But I hope that you can help take some of the pressure off of my shoulders. Right? Because at the end of the day, we go forward for the long term. And I hope that I can get some of your support this way, right? Either through prayer or your gratefulness or your, early morning prayer or, just do what you can. And then for the ordination retreat, we have robes, we have gowns, we have stoles, we have cords, we have, and we have expertise that so this ordination retreat, whatever that has been downloaded in my heart, I want to share it with you so that you can start your own university where you are. Look, we're not in the 1960s and the 1950s. Come on, we're in the age of AI. There's no reason why you cannot start your own seminary gate in your own regency. Right? Media, it's important. Right? So $22.50 for the media fee and then technological fees. Right? This is the backbone of the administration, of the policy writing, of the legal documents that I churn out, of the extensive documentation for campus setup in the last 5 years. And with every new piece of information, it's all cataloged into an encyclopedic, like a digital filing system. And it's completely remote. So if I go to India or I'm in Thailand, I can access it in Indonesia, I can access it in Vietnam, I can access it in Malaysia, I can access it in Philippines. Anywhere where there is Wi-Fi. Okay, so it's remote working. You can access it. I can give you access to my files and so on and so forth, right? But over a certain quota, you have to start paying. So roughly somewhere in the region of about $450 for the basic package, and then another $450 for the AI package, right? So I was able to demonstrate some of that stuff to you. But you will have to get your own eventually. But this is one of the costs. Technology platform. I've chosen Notion. You can choose whatever platform that you have, right? You can even do simpler ones like Google Doc, or there's Nextcloud, there's Open Cloud. There's so many different cloud solutions in the cloud, right? But all of this, remember, it's part of the administrative foundation, the legal foundation, as you layer upon layer, line upon line, precept upon precept. All of this has to be documented. So it comes out to be about $52.97 if you're dealing with a cohort of 40, right? And then, of course, we have our rental, right, at $6,500, right? That's very cheap for a whole month, right? So you can come in early, you can stay later. This is part of that cost, right? Imagine you go to a hotel in Singapore. Just one day will cost you 6,000. Now here we can have the whole month for 6,000. This is an example. And our landlord formerly, in the old days, like 40 years ago, they ran an import-export business. These were Chinese businessmen. How precious they were, even if they weren't Christian, right? Because they kept the nation going. During the British time, during the Japanese time, during the war, during the scarcity, they found ways to bring rice in from all over the place and feed the nation and keep the nation, going, even through those terrible 3.5 years of Japanese occupation. These were the import exporters. They were active from Japan all the way to Papua New Guinea, from, all across Sri Lanka, India, Malaya, everywhere, connecting the Strait Settlement, Penang, Malacca, Singapore, into the east part of Malaysia, Sandakan and Sabah and Sarawak, right? These are Chinese businessmen because of that. And we have the privilege of in obscuro cum privilegio, meaning the privilege of obscurity. If you read the history of Singapore, and I want you to read the history of Singapore, and I'm going to come out with a module on the history of Malaya and Singapore, you find how privileged we are to have not been exposed to the winds of doctrine at a very young age. God protected our people in Malaysia and Singapore. I think not many of you know, why is Malaysia and Singapore together, even though politically we're two countries? It's because we are like blood siblings, you see. In fact, almost every key person of influence, KPI, in modern Singapore was born in Malaysia at that time, okay? I can't find a judge, I can't find a lawyer, whether it's pre-colonial days into the modern Singapore legal system, that was born in Singapore. Most of them were born in Penang, in Ipoh, in Seremban, in Malacca, in Tampin, in all these, in rubber estates, right? One of the great leaders like S. Rajaratnam and all of them were from Malaya. You see, obscurity is a great privilege. Do not go for the fame. Avoid fame like the plague. You see, when Jesus, they wanted to make him a king, and he disappeared. He knew the principle of the kingdom. Like Jesus was born in a manger, in an obscure, in a stinking stable, right, with cow manure, right? Jesus was born there in the midst of the evil of Herod, the slaughtering of the innocents and the Roman Empire, injustices and so on and so forth, totalitarian regime, right? It's in obscurity that we have privilege and promotion and favor and all these good things, right? That's why it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Okay, what else? Next is ops room. Okay, this is AGG hospitality. So we have the idea of hospitality program, and we set aside $3,500 for that. So that's about $87.50 per person, whether in terms of hospitality for our ranking members of the bishop's charge, Chancellor Mike himself, Sister Tess, David Lampe, Lena Lampe from Geneva, Switzerland, or indeed other ranking members of the bishop's charge, visitors, the other ministers when they come to us, right? Members of public, people who are interested. You never know who you may meet, who may ask, shake hands, and don't be afraid. They might ask for your constitution. They might ask for your minutes of meeting. They might ask for your accounts. It's okay. Share it with them. Be open with them. Yes, this is what I may not have a copy, but I'll highlight this to Pastor G, and he'll get you a copy. And can you give me your WhatsApp number or your email, and we'll email it to you. Right? Nothing. Everything is open. Everything should be open. Right? Come, sit down. Right? I have an open policy. I put the key outside the door for members of public to come. Grab a Coke. Have a cold drink. Make a hot drink, a coffee, a tea. It's all free. Everything is free because it's already paid for. You get it? We are the embassy. This is part of chancery work. Right? If somebody comes into the assembly and has a bit of a mental, you understand what I mean, cuckoo, in their brain, right? I'll get to the yellow ribbon part later, right? But anyone can use the toilet. Don't prohibit people, right? We have people coming in the middle of the night. Don't be afraid. They bring their dirty laundry. They're homeless people to use our. We just bought a new washing machine. So people come and wash their clothes, hang the clothes, and come back the next day and pick them up. Or they use the dryer. We have a dryer as well, right? That's what a church is for. It's open concept, right? So all this hospitality costs money, right? And so on. Okay. Then honorarium speakers fee, right? This hospitality is cost $87.50. $45 per candidate for the honorarium, right? So we have, in the month, typically we have 4 speakers, 4 different types of speakers from the Father's house or wherever ministry. And then, of course, when Chancellor Mike comes, we'll bless him with something, right? Then what about cleaning fees, right? For $500. So it's $12.50 per candidate, right? If you work it out on a basis of 40 candidates. And then yellow ribbon fee. So yellow ribbon, we work with the mental institution, the police, with whoever, other ministries, right? They have needs that their church cannot handle. So we bring them in. We try to find solutions for Buddhists, for Islamists, from Hindus, from people who are not Christian, not necessarily Christian, right? And we don't force them ever to become a Christian if they don't want to. But they drink from the same fountain as we drink. They're blessed by the same God who blesses us, right? So we charge 17 Singapore dollars per candidate for that. And then register of titles, it's a missional thing, so there's lots of administration. We've set aside $622.90 for that, and it works out to be about $15.57 for that. And then cohort dining fee. So We expect to have dining fees, right? Fees for all the logistics of holding the different hosting the different parties that we have that is associated with this period of time, Chinese New Year, and so on and so forth, right? So that works out to be about $100 per person. Okay, if you work out on per seat, $100 per person for 40 candidates. So the total here is around 30,000, 30,121 and 86 for this alumni homecoming, which works out to be roughly about 754 Singapore dollars per seat. Okay, so this is, we want to share with you. It's a beautiful opportunity for you to give, even to give in prayer, even to give in gratefulness. Be grateful, right? God will supply, right? So, have you seen financial intervention before? Lately, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see God providing for the scholium, God providing for the dashboard, God providing for the graduation, God providing for the accelerator, God providing for the history, God providing for the legality, God providing for the projects, the management of the projects, God providing for the depositions, God providing for the recovery for a new generation, the bringing together of church and seminary. Okay, so that's more or less. If we have more, of course, if we have more candidates, then the price will come down as well. So, okay.